Depending on where the trial was, the project management team would do a risk assessment looking at the COVID numbers and cases and the increase or decrease at the time. For current studies that were ongoing, they would look at how we could recondition any study visits to deal with those impacts overall. And then for upcoming studies, if that area was a good area to start any of the studies as it stood. The sites would also be assessed for what their COVID screening practices were, as well as then additionally what they would have in place should there be any concerns on that part of it. We ended up looking at all the assessments going with the FDA guidelines and anything that was given by the IRB, assessing what we needed to do for actual protocol amendments and such, and bringing it up to speed with then, if it was a minor deviation and didn't impact safety overall, we didn't have to report or do an update, just ensure that we had to address this as a COVID situation. During the pandemic, the project managers took on assessing the current studies and where they were in their state, what was actually going on within the area that those sites were located for COVID numbers, precautions that were being taken, and the actual plans that were being instilled at the time. And for any new studies that were coming up, they then assessed similarly on that part of it for what was going on to then assess whether or not what actions needed to be taken, if there was appropriate COVID screening going on, what plans to put into place on that part of it, and what we could do to adjust any study visits or procedures that are needed to ensure the safety of all the participants and the ongoing execution of the clinical trial. If a participant exhibited symptoms of COVID during a clinical trial or they tested positive, it would be followed up as a standard adverse event. If the symptoms then end up progressing such that it falls under the definition of a serious adverse event, this will be followed through in the standard procedures of notifying all the regulatory bodies that are required at that time.